When people see rich people having all luxury boats, big yachts, they should not come to the assumption that the rich people paid for it. The rich do not use their money, they work with other people's money. They work with these long-term debts which their assets take care of. Assets are some items which put money in their pockets. For example, if you purchased an apartment and gave it for rent, that apartment will generate money because of the rent and the money will go to your bank account. You do not have to go to that apartment 9 a.m. and come back at 5 p.m. It is not a job, it is an asset. It is not an income, it is a rent which you are getting. So the rich people take big loans out, and using the money which they get, they buy an asset, and those assets generate a large revenue using which they can pay back the loan and also generate 10 times the original money. They do not have to pay tax because loans are tax deductible, so their tax also reduces. And also, if they show that this asset was purchased on behalf of their company, then they can also reduce the federal income tax of the company. And this is why it is very essential to learn how finance works. So welcome back everybody to Adolescent Anecdotes, a podcast which is made for teenagers, for young people who are looking for knowledge. And in this episode, we are going to talk about financial literacy. This is something which is missing in the Indian curriculum of education. Joined with me is Vihan, all the way from Los Angeles. Please introduce yourself. Thank you very much for being here.
Thanks, Bhavish. As you mentioned, I live in Los Angeles. I grew up in Dubai and I went to college in the UK and got my master's from USC in Los Angeles. And now I'm here working in entertainment marketing in LA.
And the best thing is you also went to a CBSE school, so you have been in our same shoes since you were also part of finance. You are part of branding, marketing.
Yeah.
You are also a DJ, you're into music. And that really opens a lot of perspectives. If a person is only involved in one field, it makes them narrow-minded. It does not make them creative.
Completely.
And we definitely need creative people in all the occupations because they are the ones who are going to pioneer the new ideas.
Absolutely.
So anyways, coming back to the point. In my school, at least, financial literacy is taught, or at least we are exposed to it in one sense in the commerce stream.
Yeah.
And many other streams, they are not having it.
Yeah. Middle school, high school education kind of trains you to operate within the confines of being an employee at a job that's very stable and secure, but not really training you on how you can make money aside from your earned income, that in fact there are multiple streams of income that you can have, that there is such a thing as having assets that can make money for you. In general, being financially literate about how to budget, how to make money, especially today with the coronavirus and people losing their jobs and layoffs and things like that. It's so much more pertinent and important now that people have the ideas and knowledge of how you can make money in other ways aside from your job.
Like the motive of the Indian education system, at least, is like, stereotypically speaking, you have to get good marks, pass your exams, get into a good college, and then get a good job and then retire.
Yeah.
They are having a linear mindset that you have to work for someone and they will give you money. You have to work for money.
Yes.
This is a concept which has been debunked various times. Like, if your end goal is to earn money, you can do that in a multitude of ways. And the Indian education system does not expose you to that. They are thinking that you must work for others or you must be in academics.
Exactly. I think this is an age-old thing where we've just kind of pursued the idea of stability.
And this stability has now been shaken because of the COVID-19 pandemic. They are realizing the jobs which you told me are secure, they are the jobs who are removing people.
And it comes from a sense of fear also, where people don't want to fail and people don't want to disappoint, their parents or their neighbor or their aunts and uncles and things like that.
There are few things which are going to be mandatory in every single field. Like the knowledge of computers is very essential, no matter if you're a doctor or if you are into finance.
Yeah.
The knowledge of money is going to be important because it plays an integral role in your life. And they want workers. That is why the education system was set up. They want people who will slave for others. And the idea of stability, like you said, like Indian education and even the whole society of India is based on very little risk. That's why even the stock markets have very little investors.
Yeah.
The idea of equity is also
very foreign,
not prominent.
Very foreign to many people. One thing that I would hope that most people can do is, if the education system is not providing you with the knowledge that you need, you can always go and seek out that information for yourself. It's all available at your fingertips, either through books or online. You can get all of that information, and that's kind of true in my my case, where I went to an Indian school, you know, like many of your listeners, and none of this was taught to me. I was not taught how to, for instance, invest in the stock market, or how.
Plus, you also took the science stream.
I also took the science stream, yes, and that did not help me at all. But yeah, I mean, I had no idea of how to actually build an asset, for instance, or the fact that I could have more than just one stream of income, or how you could budget and save money so that you can actually take advantage of it later, you know, where if you have more money, you will be able to buy an asset that will be able to compound and make money for you over time. All of these things are very, very important for you to know early on. Let's give you an example. You know, normally when we tell people to budget and to save money, people start freaking out because it's too complicated for them and they've never done it before. But it's really simple. All you need is an Excel sheet, and you can just put down the things that you normally spend and know where you want to cut back. You know, like for instance, do I have too many subscription services? Do I really need Netflix, Hotstar, Amazon, all of these things? Once you have it in front of you, you'll be able to budget a lot easier.
And small reductions in your expenses can be put to buying an asset. And this concept is also missing in Indian families who buy and save in gold, or who put it in a savings account. And nowadays, the modern community is putting it in mutual funds. A job is something you have to clock in, clock out, and then they will give you money. But an asset, like if I had a land and I lease it out to someone, that land is my asset whose value is also going to increase by time. So instead of spending money in buying gold, or instead of buying something else for your own luxury, invest in something which will give you 10 times the amount of money. And again, whatever money you collect from that asset, invest it back. You're going to make a lot of money if that is your end game. Many people do not have this long-term realization because of also how data is transferred instantaneously. I can send something by just one click of button, and this incongruence of time lacking. Like they want things to happen immediately. I did not get money now, okay, sell that shit off. That concept, that mentality has been entertained by social media also, because they get everything by one click, and their patience has run out. They give up so quickly.
It's just especially now because of social media, you're seeing all of your friends, maybe, you know, some of your friends have being able to go on some holiday that's at an expensive place, or they've just bought this expensive watch, or somebody has a car or something like that. All these quick gratifications make you feel like you need to get it quick also, but that's not the way that it really works. You know, real valuable assets that can change your life take time. A lot of us want to have financial independence. We want to have freedom that requires us to be able to live the life that we want. But we are so chained to our jobs where it doesn't give us that ability to have that. Real asset doesn't require your active management. You know, that's something like a stock or a bond, or income generating real estate, or royalties, for instance. All of these things you should be aware of so that you can know what you are able to capitalize on. You know, having a job is something that will allow you to do that over time. So that makes me want to go to another point about having a job. The job that you have will be able to give you the money that you need to be able to build an asset. You have to be able to invest that money to build that asset over time.
People say money doesn't buy you happiness, but the people without money are definitely not very happy in this current modern world.
The person who said, you know, money doesn't bring you happiness was very rich because he never had to worry about it. You know, so he didn't have to feel like money needed to give him that happiness. But on the other side, if you don't have money, you will definitely be facing a lot of problems, and you will not really be happy. You will be stressed out. You'll be wondering how you're going to pay your rent, how you're going to pay your bills, how you're going to afford food. We say that money gives you happiness. It means freedom of the stress lack of money will give you.
And also hankering after money, being greedy and wanting more and more of it will not give you happiness. It will be detrimental to your mental health. It's going to affect you psychologically also. And that is a side effect of business.
Exactly. I mean, that's a big thing that I always tell a lot of people who are chasing money. You know, there's a certain point after which money is not going to satisfy you. It's the process of your craft. It's the process of the work that you're doing that will give you satisfaction, progress in that, you know. So that's why always move in the direction where you feel you will be fulfilled with the work that you're doing, and the money will follow because you will become good at it, because you will practice and train to become better and better at it. And once you become great at it, more money than you ever imagined will come through. That's the way that it works. It's pretty evident that everything is shifting online. As you can see, content is experiencing a major uptick, even through YouTube or podcasts or blogs or anything like that is completely going up because people are consuming so much more content than ever before. And you want to try and be free of your 9 to 5. Creating content may be a way to do that. So if you've been thinking for a long time about, that you want to start a TikTok account or you want to build up your YouTube channel, start now. It's never too late. You can always start to build it up, and maybe something will happen down the line. You'll get enough of support, and people and brands will start calling you, and people will start working with you, and you'll get income that you never thought was even possible. You're like, oh my God, I did not know I could make money making videos online. That's so strange. But you have to start.
You have to be patient, do it for 5-6 years, and this is your asset in future. This will make a good $50, $60 in the side, and that can be a passive income. Like, I have one more YouTube account for PowerPoint tutorials, and I did not upload for 1 year, but it still made me around $95 in 1 year without uploading, and that is a very good passive pocket money for someone of my age.
Exactly.
And this time is very crucial for you because you just get started, just pump out content which you enjoy making, and the happiness which you get will be the reward for it currently. And in the future, money will be an additional bonus of your happiness.
Yeah, and I totally recommend, if you're looking for other ways to make money, you have to be able to be willing to learn and start from the bottom. You have to try things to know what you like. Then I DJ, for instance. That's kind of it's kind of a very different, unconventional thing. But I knew that I enjoyed music. I knew that I enjoyed performing for people and making people happy. So I wanted to give it a shot, but nobody taught me that. I did not have a teacher who taught me that in school. I learned that online and I practiced on my own.
So like people nowadays, they spend more time preaching about it. They are like, this school system has failed me. I will not be a part of it. I will drop out. I'll do this. But before dropping out or doing something drastic, have a plan in your mind. Like, do not start quoting people who dropped out and made it big, like Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg.
It's become very stereotypical, for people to feel like they need to drop out in order to be successful. Because the reason that a lot of these people who started billion-dollar corporations and social media empires, the reason that they dropped out is because they were already facing success in some way, or they realized the potential of what they were starting. When you don't have anything going for you, you have to be able to get something off the ground to feel like it's worth it. You need to give yourself the time, right? So let's just say I want to become an entrepreneur, but I have no idea. Why do I need the extra time when nothing's working for me? I have to try and make use of the time that I have. So that's why I mentioned, making use of your time after your 9 to 5, once you come back home. That's what makes all the difference.
And even for school students, just invest 30 to 45 minutes in one new hobby, and down the line it's going to be very useful to you. You can also have a productive hobby which you can choose. Like, I read an article which told me about choosing hobbies. Like, whatever hobby you have, one should be a creative outlet, one should keep you fit, one should give you knowledge, and one should make you passive income.
I read that. A lot of people also blame the education system. They blame it for failing them, and they think that a lot of their struggles are completely based on how their teachers instructed them or the way that their parents made them learn things. But you cannot really help that. You cannot really change the fact that that was your life. What you can do is how you approach going forward. So what you can do is you can pick up books that teach you financial literacy, that teach you productivity, time management, skills that you need. For instance, a great book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, is a book that I think everybody should read, obviously. I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi is a good book, so pick that up. But these are all very, very easily digestible and understandable for anybody. All teenagers, high school kids, everybody should be able to read books like this.
And also in the future, like many people, they are not willing to take out loans also in one way. They are scared of repaying it. But they do not know that if they take loans, they are going to have tax deductions and deductions. So these are small knowledges which you must be aware of, so you can live a happy life in future with less stress.
One of the things that kind of holds people back from having financial independence is debt. If you have debt that you have to repay, and the loans that you've stacked on, credit cards, all of this stuff. So you have to know how to repay your loans, or what the interest rates are, what the best way is to actually manage that. Comes with education. All the information is available. You can all get it.
Like when you grow up, what type of credit card am I supposed to use? Because there are multitudes of cards with various interest rates, with various maximum capacity. And knowing that from now will make sure you are not cheated in the future by some person in the bank. Because many banks also exploit heavily. And also, since you mentioned Rich Dad Poor Dad, there was an interesting line which I read that having the lack of financial knowledge by one person is going to affect the entire community. Like if a doctor, he wanted more money, he can increase his rates. And imagine he has a patient, a businessman who goes to the doctor. Now the businessman has to pay more money to the doctor. And the businessman can afford more money by increasing the price of his products. And if the businessman increases the price of his products, the normal people, the common men and women are going to be affected again. And this is the problem of one person wanting more money, and that has affected the entire society now. And this is why financial discipline must be taught in schools, and it should be made mandatory.
Absolutely true. Financial discipline is so important in order to be able to manage your finances and know how to actually make money work for you. Constantly investing in yourself, in skills and in knowledge. All of these things are so pivotal and are missing, but I wish that the education system was slightly different. So when you're making an income, generally what happens is when people get a raise in their salaries, for instance, you tend to see people moving into a bigger house, or they buy a more expensive car the moment they get a raise or they make more money. So those are your expenses. When you have something that takes money out of your bank account every month on a regular basis, so let's just say you have a car and you have to make payments every month so that you can pay it off. I think it's an EMI is what we call it, right? When you have an EMI and it takes away money every month, that's a liability, because it's not an asset that that creates value for you and you'll be able to resell. Whereas something like a stock or a good piece of property that increases in value over time and that you can resell for a profit, that's an asset. So so you have to keep trying to redirect your money in favor of things that can grow over time and build more value for your net worth. So what people generally do is when you have your expenses and your liabilities, you'll make those payments, and then after that you'll find whatever little money is left and you'll put it in your savings. But it should be the complete other way around. You should first, whenever you get your money, you should pay yourself first. So once you get your salary, pay yourself first, and then with the remaining money, that's the money that you will be able to pay your rent and your expenses and go to Disneyland or whatever. You have to be able to shift your focus into investing in yourself by putting money into your own bank account. The one thing that going to an Indian school taught me is to be able to handle pressure. Because the Indian education system, there's a lot of pressure. And I joke with my family, people who know this, that I'm much more able to handle pressure because I had to go through my board exams. And that kind of trains you to deal with uncomfortable situations later in life. So there is one really strong benefit to the education system, I guess. Try to do things that make you uncomfortable. Those are the things that will make you grow. And I'm really glad that I was able to do that really young, because now it's a lot easier for me.
And also, like you mentioned, the benefit of the Indian system, I can also say a good benefit of formal education is that you get a lot of opportunities there. Like the opportunities which you get in college, you're not going to get it anywhere else if you're homeschooled. You go to a lot of college fest, you get to travel on behalf of the college and participate in a lot of competition and meet like-minded people who are the next future millionaires and billionaires. You can live with them in the dormitory, have contact with them, and being with those people who enhance your mental capabilities and your technical skills is always a boon and a blessing. You are going to make yourself so much better. You're going to upgrade yourself by being amongst their presence in their community. And this network, that will be your net worth.
Your network is going to be able to open up so many more doors for you than you ever imagined. Sometimes that person that you went to school with knows somebody who knows somebody for a job that you want, or will be able to help you with your business or invest in your business or something like that. And that's going to be the whole deal. So try to,
Yes.
reach out to as many people as you can, even if they didn't go to school with you, and there's somebody that whose job you like and you'd like to be more closely associated with that or have that job in the future. Reach out to them on LinkedIn, send them an email, go to their office. It's all possible.
And all the steps can happen by having secondary skills. Like if I want to be a programmer, do not just invest all your time in learning the program and learning how to code. Invest time in your communication. Invest time in having a good appearance, because these small factors present a very good image about yourself to the other person. And because of this, they are going to trust you more. They are not always going to see your technical skills. They also want aptitude, personality, and someone who can understand what they are thinking. So these secondary skills
Sure.
very, very important. And they are also generated by having different creative hobbies. Like you do DJ, I am into cinema.
You have to be able to try things and expand your horizons and really learn what you like and don't like, because only then will you be able to do the stuff that you truly enjoy. How will you know what you enjoy if you don't try it? That's the only way. So try as many things, especially when you're young. You feel a lot of need to try and make things work, and there's a lot of pressure that you put on yourself. So maybe I would tell myself to try and relax a little bit more, to not feel like, because your everything in your head can be really loud, and you can be like, oh God, this is not happening. When is this going to happen? I'm so worried about this. Am I going to get into college? Is this school going to accept me? My life is over, if I don't get into this and that. You have to be able to be adaptable, know that failure is okay. I wish that I was able to understand that things will work out, just be more patient and relax a little bit. So some of the best things that have happened to me were because the thing that I wanted didn't happen. So one of the things was I wanted to get into a college in Singapore, for instance, and I didn't get in, and I worked really, really hard to get in, and I didn't get admitted. And because I didn't get admitted, I went to my other plan, which was to go to the UK, and that was a wonderful experience for me. So sometimes the best things that happen will be the things that you never imagined.
So to summarize the whole podcast, right now, if you have the privilege and opportunity to work on getting new information and knowledge, you can learn about so many things which the school is not going to teach you. And this extra knowledge is going to boost you and keep you one step ahead of your competition. Thank you very much for watching. Check out Vihan's YouTube channel. He puts a lot of inspiration, motivational content which allows you to focus on one thing, on being productive, which is very essential if you want to be successful in your life.